Welcome to a new series called Worth the Hype, where I'll be trying viral knitting designs and yarns to see if they do indeed live up to the hype. In today's episode, we have a two-in-one. I'll be knitting the latest viral pattern, the Rosie Sweater, and I'll be knitting it with the very famed Cardiff Cashmere. But first, let's look at the highly esteemed Cardiff Cashmere. Supposedly softer than a baby's butt and lighter than a feather. Everybody is talking about Cardiff Cashmere. But we'll be putting it under full investigation. First impressions, knitting experience, finished fabric, wash and wear, price to experience, all questions I'll be asking when I knit with this yarn to answer the ultimate question. Is it truly worth the hype? So my initial thoughts on this Cardiff Cashmere yarn is, wow. Wow, wow, wow. It's so soft. It's honestly unlike any other wool that I've felt before. I've said before on this channel that many wools are very soft, but this is unlike any of those wools. It's on its own little plane of softness. Super light and airy. It's got a lot of fuzz on it as well, so I think it's gonna bloom quite nicely and fill out quite nicely. So the colors that I chose for this are 716, which is the pink one, and then this is 509, which is the all natural one. This is actually an undyed yarn, so this is just straight off the goat's back. But I think these together are going to be absolutely gorgeous. Now, online coloring compared to what I actually received is very, very comparable. One thing that really tends to annoy me about some yarn brands is that the yarn that is shown online is vastly different to what you actually receive in person. And I know monitors can be a massive contributor in that, but when it's very different, then I've got a bit of an issue. But these were very comparable. I've been eyeing this yarn off for quite a while because everybody talks about it. And so when Erica from Yarnicopia reached out and asked if I wanted to try this yarn out, I couldn't say no. And I wanted to let you guys know if it was actually worth the hype or not. So thank you so much to Erica from Yarnicopia for actually gifting this to me. And the exciting news is that her pre-orders are actually open on her website right now if you want to go and get yourself some Cardiff Cashmere. I'll leave her link in the description box below. So my first impressions of this got a very high rating because I instantly fell in love with it, and I cannot wait to see what the fabric actually knits up like. It was time to cast on the famed Rosie Sweater. Let's chat about my first impressions of this design. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't instantly in love with this design when I first saw it. It wasn't love at first scroll. I thought it was pretty with the colorwork flowers and the fit looked very comfortable. The neckline kind of threw me off at first. It wasn't my cup of tea, and I didn't think it would be a timeless design. Could I see myself wearing this in 5 or 10 years time? We pour so much time into each knit, and I've started asking myself the timeless question. In my books, there are a few things that make a pattern truly worth the hype. Pattern clarity. Could I follow it without rage knitting? Knitting enjoyment. Was it a joy to knit or a slog? Yarn versatility. How flexible is it with yarn substitution or stash yarn? Value for effort. Was the result worth the time it took to knit? Fit and finish. Would I proudly wear this out? Uniqueness. What makes this pattern so different to others? These are all questions that will answer the overwhelming question, is it worth the hype? So I've made a bit of a mistake, so I have to do some ripping back. I accidentally twisted the stitches when I cast it on for the very front. So now I've got a twist. I don't know how, but I managed to knit about 10 centimeters worth before I actually realized that it was twisted. So I'm gonna be ripping that back. Yay, love ripping back. But I thought I would give you a bit of an update on what I think of the yarn while it's being knitted up and on the pattern clarity so far. And so far the yarn is just unbelievably soft. Like, I cannot express to you how soft this is. I was not expecting it, even from the ball. The ball itself is so soft when you're feeling it up against your skin, but when it is knitted up, it is like next level kind of soft. I wish you could feel this through the camera. I really wish you could, because it is just out of this world. It's gorgeous. So far I'm very, very impressed with this yarn. It is definitely living up to the hype, the expectation that I put on it. So I'm very excited to actually have this as a sweater because I feel like it's gonna be just wearing a cloud like all the time. The pattern clarity so far, I am not super impressed with, to be honest. I'm finding it a little bit like it is well written, but also confusing. I'm following it and I'm doing it. So it's got enough there that I can actually go through, but I am finding it a little bit confusing, especially when it comes to placing different markers. It's just some of the wording is a little bit confusing to me, and I've really had to read those lines a few times to actually fully understand what was going on. And even then, I'm second guessing myself as to whether it's actually correct or not. So the pattern clarity isn't quite what I expected for such a hut design. I am getting there, as you can see, like I'm making sense of it as I go along, but it's just not as clearly written as I prefer patterns to be. In saying that, it might be someone else's cup of tea and they might breeze through it and think that it is super well written. But for me, it's a little confusing, especially just around the stitch marker placements and various different things so far. So now I'm going to rip back to where I had twisted the stitches and start again. The Rosie Sweater is knit with DK weight yarn. The sample in the photos done by the designer Knit is knit with Sanders Garn Tin Pure Gint, held with tin silk mohair to achieve this gauge. I'm substituting this for Cardiff Cashmere Classic, which is a light DK, so of course my gauge was slightly off. To combat this, I've taken my gauge and calculated that I needed to knit a size small to achieve my desired fit of 8 extra small. The construction of this sweater is super clever. It's a combination of drop shoulders and raglan, meaning the colour work is worked only on the right side, so no colour work is worked flat, which to me is getting a big tick on the rating scale. Stunning, gorgeous, obsessed. Look at this gorgeous colour work. I've just gotten up to like half the chart of the colour work, and these colours together, this colour combination, I am absolutely loving. It's just working out beautifully. I'm in love. I'm in love. I can't wait to like see what the whole motif looks like. So this is just halfway through the first chart, and I'm loving this combination so much. It's working out wonderfully. So the construction of this is so interesting. It's different to anything that I've knit before. It's a drop shoulder cross a raglan. So you get the best of both worlds with all the shaping and the fit. But it means that you don't have to work the colour work flat at all. It's all done in the round. So you start with casting on stitches for the upper back piece, then picking up stitches for the upper front part, and then stitches are picked up along the sleeve tops, and then the yoke is worked in the round. It's just a really clever construction, and it's getting a big tick in my books when it comes to the rating scale because you work the colour work in the round. I haven't worked colour work flat before, but I've heard it's not that fun, and so she's just come up with this incredible construction where you can work it in the round but also have those drop shoulder effects, and I am loving the fit so far. It's looking beautiful. I think with the pattern clarity, all it needs is some good schematics, some good drawings of what she's actually trying to explain in words. I think that's all it really needs to become a very clear pattern. The chart itself for the colour work is also a little bit confusing. I had to reread the instructions for it a few times, and it doesn't have numbers on the bottom, and I didn't realize how much I actually rely on the little numbers down the bottom and along the sides, but I rely on those a lot. And when I've read other patterns with repeats within a chart, it's always highlighted in a box, where this pattern isn't highlighted in a box, but it's just got a little squiggle down the bottom of where that repeat is going to be, and I found that quite confusing, or you kind of tend to get a bit lost in the repeat when you don't have that outlining box for the repeat. So what I've done is actually draw the lines along the repeats of where they start so that I'm getting less confused, because where she's got the little squiggle for the repeat down the bottom of the chart, I mark off my chart as I go, and so that little squiggle gets really lost in where the line of the repeat should be. So I don't know if that makes any sense. I hope it does. In other words, it was a bit confusing and I didn't enjoy the chart as much. because of that. But when I started drawing up my own lines for the repeats, it made it a lot easier and clearer to read. But yeah, I do wish there was numbers on there as well because I rely on the numbers a lot. Colourwork has become one of my favorite techniques in knitting. It feels like magic when you start seeing that image appear in your stitches. The first set of colourwork was working up beautifully, although it was a bit of a slog reading it, but I was still having fun with the knit. So one thing that I absolutely love about this pattern is all of the different color combinations that you can use. Before you start this project, I highly recommend going onto Ravelry and checking out all of the different projects and all of the different color combinations that people use. I particularly love the colors that Henny from Honey Wool Wonders used. She's used 2 different colors for the leaves and the rose motif, and I just think that that was brilliant. And I love the effect that it gives of using those 2 different colors. I'll make sure to pop her channel down below. She does a podcast where she actually talks about the different colors that she used. She said it was a little bit tricky, but I think it's well worth the results because it looked absolutely stunning. So that's definitely adding some points onto the hype scale for me for this pattern. So I'm halfway through the pattern right now, so I feel like I can give a little bit more of a overall picture of what I'm thinking of this knit so far. I'm now 30 hours in and I've done the collar and all the color work. I'm like about halfway through the body. Maybe I've got a little bit more to go until I'm halfway through the body, but I'm up to the next color work section and the color work has been so much fun to do. I'm really enjoying it and it's working up beautifully and I'm loving this. I'm a bit obsessed with this sweater already. The only thing that I'm not too sure about is the neckline. I'm not one for really high necks or like mock necks or anything like that. So I love the feel of cashmere. I love the feel of it around my neck. It's keeping me so nice, warm and toasty, but I'm just not sure about the style. I don't know if I'm a big lover of the high necks because as much as I love the cashmere around my neck, it's actually so nice and toasty and warm and it doesn't feel like it's choking me or anything because it is so soft. So the feel of it is amazing, wonderful, but I feel like the style for me, it's not really my style. So I'm just debating with myself whether I fold it down or just leave it like that. Who knows? We'll decide at the end. Let's chat about the knitting experience so far. So far with the yarn, I am loving working with it so much. It is an absolute joy to work with. It feels so light and airy, and because of that, it feels like it should be breakable, like you should be able to break it really easily. And so I'm always expecting when I'm like pulling on the yarn a little bit or doing the bind off, I always expect it to snap, but it is really strong for such a lightweight yarn and it's a pleasure to work with. I am loving it. It can tend to be a little bit splitty, like it's not bad, but I do find my needles sometimes goes through it. It is a little bit splitty, but I don't think it's anything really to complain about. The only thing that is really annoying about the yarn is that it only comes in 25 gram balls. So you've only got like, I think it's 115 meters per ball. So you've got a lot of ends to weave in, which I mean, it shouldn't be a deal breaker or anything, but it's a little bit annoying. I wish they came in maybe a 50 gram ball would be awesome, but they only come in the 25 grams. So that's my only thing that I can think about that is negative towards this yarn. It is absolute perfection. And maybe next year I might even spoil myself and get some more because I'm just so in love with it. Knitting experience for the pattern so far is just because I'm getting a bit confused with the pattern and the pattern writing style. It's been not super smooth. I haven't made any major mistakes, which has been awesome. So I have been able to piece together what the pattern is actually meaning. I think literally all it needs is just some schematics, some drawings, just to figure out what she's actually trying to put into words. So I think that would be really helpful. But other than that, it has been pretty smooth sailing. I haven't made any major mistakes. There's been one of the sleeves I accidentally picked up too many stitches for and ended up with stitches for a size medium. Don't know how I managed that, but then I just decreased and now they're the same size, so that's fine. But other than that, everything's been pretty smooth sailing. I haven't had any major issues. I haven't had to rip it back at all. So I'm cheering. I'm absolutely cheering about that. So knitting experience so far is getting a pretty good rating from me. It's taken 30 hours to get to this point, which I think is really good. This is like the majority, like the main chunk of everything. So I think it'll be fairly quick from here on out. I think that's really good for a sweater. It's cruising along so far. So for yarn versatility, it does call for a DK weight yarn, and on the pattern it uses a fingering and a lace weight held together. So I was wondering how just the one strand of DK would go, and I have no complaints. It is wonderful. I think it's quite a versatile pattern if you do want to substitute out yarn. I think it's totally doable. You'll get a beautiful result. The Cardiff Cashmere is working up really lovely in just the one strand. So that's getting a big tick as well. I think this sweater is definitely going to be up there for like nearing worth the hype, but we've got to finish it to actually see if it is indeed worth the hype or not. So far, I think I'm getting the hype. I think I'm getting the hype for both the yarn and the pattern. It's looking beautiful. It's fitting lovely too. I really enjoy this construction. It's getting a lot of ticks in my boxes. A lot of ticks. Now onto the next Colourwork section. Over the next few days, I worked on the second Colourwork section, which was delightful. A lot easier than the first chart. It was a smaller chart, so it made it easy to read and memorize. Do you want to see where I'm up to? I have made a fair bit of progress over the last few days, and I cannot wait to wear this and to have this in my wardrobe. Oh my goodness, I'm obsessed. It's almost done. It's looking so good. So I bound off for the body yesterday, and I've gotten so much done over the last few days. It's been fabulous. All of the color work is completely done. So all I've got to do is do a few more rows of stocking net on here, and then do the cuff, and then the other sleeve, do a bunch of stocking net and the cuff as well. And then I'm done. I'm completely finished. So my goal today is to see if I can finish this completely. I've weaved in all the ends as I went because I just don't want to do that at the end. There wasn't as many ends to weave in as I thought there was gonna be, which is great because I was really dreading weaving in all those ends because of the small balls, but it wasn't that bad. It really wasn't. I didn't use as much of the pink yarn as I thought that I would. I think I just way over ordered. I don't know where I got the amount of balls that I ordered for the pink from, but it certainly was way more than I thought. I think I only ended up using 2 or 3 balls. I'll have to double check, but I've got a few balls left over of the pink. I've been following everything exactly to pattern as of now. The only thing that I've slightly changed is, well, the collar I did 2 centimeters smaller. So she says to go to 9 centimeters. I just did 7 centimeters. And the sleeves, I haven't done the decreases because I like that slightly more balloony style. She's got you to decrease from one of the Colourwork sections, and you just decrease like every certain amount of rows. But I haven't done that. I've just left it as is. And then I'm going to do a rapid decrease for the cuff and have more balloony style because that is what I love in a sleeve. I'm really hoping I can get it done today so that I can wear it this week because I just want to be surrounded by this soft cashmere. I really, really do. I'm going to try and knit and talk, but I'm not very good at it. So we'll see how we go. So as I've been knitting on this over the last couple of days, I've been thinking what makes this pattern so popular, because there's a lot of designs out there where I think that they're going to be super popular and then they don't end up being popular or hyped at all. And I think it is just that simple color work. Who doesn't love roses? And I think because it is oversized as well, and that is very in and very popular at the moment, I think that also is very appealing to a lot of people. But I think the simplicity of it is also what makes it so modern, because when you look at this sweater, you don't think, oh, that's going to be dated in a few years. Like, this is kind of a timeless knit, I think, because it's not over the top. It's trendy at the moment, but it's also something that you can chuck on forever and it will always be timeless. But then it got me thinking, if a smaller designer released this instead of a very popular designer, would it be as popular as it is? I think it still might have taken off because it is just such a gorgeous design. I love that you can use different colors, like people can put their own little personality, their own little spin on it. I've also had similar thoughts about the cashmere as well, like why is it so popular? And I think it is definitely because it is so soft It is definitely the softest yarn I've ever felt, and I would definitely purchase this again, 100%. It is on the pricier side. We all know this, but honestly and truly, I feel like it is worth it. I'm already planning another sweater in this, maybe for like a special occasion next year, maybe my birthday or something, because I want to be surrounded by cashmere all the time. I have also been looking into their brand and like kind of their values and what they stand for. Because it is so expensive, I do expect it to be quite sustainable and treating their animals well. And from what I can tell from the website and what I've been reading up, their focus and one of their values is sustainability, to be eco-friendly. They use more traditional methods of producing the cashmere, which I think is fantastic to keep those traditions going as well. Obviously with a modern flair with all the machinery as well, which is totally understandable. You got to make a living. I couldn't find a lot of information about the animal welfare, but they do say that they guarantee that the animals are treated correctly and their welfare is looked after. So that made me more confident in how they treat their animals. So my overall consensus of Cardiff Cashmere from reading about them is that they are pretty legit with their sustainability, and I love the values and things that they stand for within their company, which I think when you're pouring so much money into some yarn, you want to really make sure that you're supporting a good brand. And I think these guys are pretty legit. So more ticks in the box for them. Also, their color range is absolutely fantastic. I love all of the shades of their colors. It was so hard just to choose these two colors. I've got my eye on so many more, and they're always releasing new colors as well. So I love that about them. They're not just sticking with the same color range. They're always looking to improve and to add colors to their range as well. So I was on my way to finishing the sweater. The rest of the knit was a breeze and flew off the needles. The only issue I encountered was the tubular cast off on the cuffs that the pattern suggests. It was just too tight and not comfortable. I'm not sure what I did wrong there, so I just bound off in pattern and am super happy with the results. And finally, the Rosie sweater was done. Oh my goodness, I'm obsessed with this. This is so beautiful. This is the pre-blocked version, so it's looking a little bit short in the sleeves and a little bit short in the body, although I kind of like this length. But plan today, block it out, and then see the magic happen. I am surrounded by the most beautiful luxury yarn I've ever felt on my skin. I feel like I'm literally living inside of a big, cushy marshmallow cloud. Like, it is so soft to wear, so soft next to skin. It's almost like wearing nothing because it's so light. I am very curious to see how it actually blocks out and if it changes the feel of the yarn at all, if it gets less soft or more soft. I don't know how it could get any softer, but who knows? I have to admit, I did not actually block my swatch, so I genuinely have no idea what this fabric will be like once it's blocked. I just went off and unblocked Guage swatch because I didn't mind how much positive ease there was going to be, and I think I'll end up with the perfect amount. So I'm very curious to see how much it grows and if the yarn actually changes at all. I'm very, very keen to see how this turns out. So today, blocking, and hopefully it dries today. It's a very scorching hot day, so I'm going to get out of this and do some blocking. I'm all done. It's blocked. It's beautiful. I am absolutely obsessed with this sweater. It is now my new favorite, like hands down, absolutely my new favorite sweater. The fit, the comfort, the beautifulness, I'm obsessed with it, and I haven't been able to take it off. It's spring here, so it's warming up, and I'm still wearing it despite the heat. So the whole point of this video was to see if both the yarn and the pattern were actually worth the hype. So I've done a little bit of a rating system for this, and first we'll chat about the yarn. For the knitting experience, I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10. I had an absolute pleasure working with this yarn. I have no complaints whatsoever. It was a little bit splitty, and that's the only reason it's not getting a 10 out of 10, but that's not a big deterrent at all. It was a pleasure to work with. Finished fabric, 10 out of 10. It is absolutely my favorite yarn I've ever worked with. It is absolutely stunning. It's so ridiculously soft, and after blocking, it's very comparable to what it was before blocking, if not even a little bit fluffier, a little bit softer. I don't know how that's possible, but it's very comparable. So for the finished fabric, I am just over the moon with it. 10 out of 10. Price to experience. Now this is on the pricier side of yarn. There is more expensive ones out there. I think for the experience and for the wear out of it, I am going to give it a 7 out of 10 because it is a lot pricey than other yarns, but it is 100% worth it because I had so much fun knitting this up, and it just gives you the most beautiful, beautiful result. I cannot explain to you how much I am in love with this yarn. Softness, it should be a billion out of 10 because it's the softest yarn I've ever felt, but I'll put it down as a 10 out of 10. Wash and wear. I will wear this one as much as possible until my next Worth the Hype episode. So make sure you stay tuned for that one because right at the end, I'm going to give you all of my thoughts and opinions on the wash and wear. This yarn rating system is out of 40 and they have to make it over 25 points to qualify for being worth the hype. And today, the Cardiff Cashmere has gotten a whopping 36 out of 40. So I officially qualify this as worth the hype. Let's look at the pattern rating system, and this is out of 50. Knitting experience, I'm giving it a 7 out of 10 because I really, really enjoyed this knit. It was a little bit of a slog for the first half of it, just trying to work out the instructions, but I thoroughly enjoyed this knit. Fit and finish, 10 out of 10. The fit of it is absolutely perfect. It's so comfortable to wear, and all the finishes on it give it a really nice polished look like you would have bought it from a store. So I'm giving it a 10 out of 10 for sure. Pattern clarity, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. It wasn't the most crystal clear pattern I have ever read, but I did go through it without any mistakes. I think with just a few schematics and little tweaks to the chart, it would make it a lot clearer. Value for effort, I would give it an 8 out of 10. So putting 55 hours into this sweater, I think it's totally worth the effort because you get this beautiful garment in the end. Uniqueness, 7 out of 10. I think the construction is very unique. I haven't seen many that have this construction, and the roses are quite unique too. Other than that, it is quite a standard sweater fit, so 7 out of 10. This pattern rating score is out of 50, and they have to get over 30 points to be qualified as being worth the hype. And the Rosie Sweater comes in at 38 points. So it is definitely worth the hype in my books. What popular pattern would you like me to try next? Let me know in the comments below. If you would like to pre-order some Cardiff Cashmere from Yarnicopia, the pre-orders are now open until the 16th of November. And your beautiful Cardiff Cashmere parcel will be delivered to you early to mid-December. Erica will be putting orders through weekly, so make sure you pop your pre-order in as soon as possible to avoid any delays. And you could be having yourself a Cardiff Cashmere Christmas. That sounds delightful. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode. Let me know, will you be ordering some Cardiff Cashmere or knitting up the Rosie Sweater? Or both? If you're looking for some more knitting podcasts, vlogs, or inspiration, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join the knitting family here at Lovely Day Knits. Thank you so much again for watching, and I hope you have a lovely day.